Aloha. I went to the hot ponds today where we have these natural hot ponds made from the heat from our volcano. And I had my feet in the water and I just sat there in contemplation. So I'm coming out of that space, and something that's been coming to me is this concept of the black diamond. And it was actually in Alana Fairchild. She's this amazing spiritual being. And she has this little booklet called 333, these heart wisdoms. And I had turned to this page the other day and it was called Black Diamond. And so in this moment, in this contemplation today, I was like, oh, the black diamond is forged by fire, but it's the strongest and the toughest diamond. And it comes in these clusters, and it can take 1 year to actually cut some of that off. And that the black diamond is made of like a ton of these internal particles. And it's not just like one piece like a regular diamond. And I thought that was so interesting because I think it's a beautiful representation and metaphor for yes, there is the aspect of the diamond that we have this one life, but it's in the multitude of life experiences that can create, sorry, my cat and my dog are at my feet, that can create the toughest of the diamonds. And I have felt that each of us may go through various life experiences, and if we allow them to, can help to support and polishing the diamond of our heart. And that we all have this crystalline Christ consciousness energy. And there's this book called Many Lives, Many Masters, I believe, that I'd read back in 2012 actually. And it talked about how if our soul in the beginning is represented as this dirty diamond, and each lifetime that we experience is like polishing one of those facets of this diamond so that we may turn into our brilliance and return back into source, return back to source greater. And I thought that was always so fascinating. And so in this moment, in this contemplation today, that the black diamond actually doesn't shine from the inside out, it shines from the outside in, I think. And I thought that was an interesting thing, that it's actually from these external life experiences that we get forged by the fire, so to speak. And it's by no coincidence that I live on a volcanic island, and is part of some of the newest earth on the planet because of the recent eruptions that we've had, that I definitely have felt being forged by the fire. And some of the most difficult experiences that I've had to this day, let alone, of course, the different things that I've experienced in my lifetime. I survived cancer at age 4. My cat's playing inside of a paper bag. That I experienced cancer at age 4, 3.5, 4. And that now I live on this island where I am willingly putting myself into scenarios and situations that support and expand my growth. And it's very parallel to people that have engaged in therapy or any personal development, or even psychedelic experiences, right? You're willingly putting yourself, or you start working out, right? You start putting yourself into these scenarios and situations willingly, because you grow from them. And the thing that it's interesting with life is that if you're not doing that, life's gonna do it for you. In the past, within a year span, I packed up my family moved to a rock in the middle of the ocean in Hawaii, left our roots and stability and jobs and forged a path into the unknown. And with a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old and my husband, who none of them are really actually thrilled about coming. But something was inside of me that my soul was thirsty for this experience that it's so hard to even put into words what my life has been like since living here. But it is finding these, just like the volcanic rock, it's like this porousness of sifting through any illusions that I've been living through in my life. And it's not for the faint of heart. I mean, you throw a stone around here and you hit someone that's doing their deep shadow work. And there's some people that are, that have learned to, wow, yes, every aspect of life is this, but how do you relate to that? Are you constantly getting tossed in the whitewash of the waves? Are you learning to surf, so to speak, surf life, that that these experiences are going to come, or you're going to put yourself into them in some shape or form? The journey in motherhood, I can tell you, is very much that. Learning to, or learning to reparent yourself when you become a parent, or just that journey of reparenting the inner self and exploring who you are under these pressures of life, and who you are amidst change and transformation, and how do you relate to yourself in those lulls. There's this journey of life, death, and rebirth, and undoing, being, and becoming. And we may, as women, we can cycle through that within a month. We follow the lunar cycle, and we may move through that in a day, in a week, in a month, in a year, in 3 years, in 7 years. Like, look at the timeline of your life and see where major events have happened, and you'll start to see and notice what your life pattern is. And learning these aspects of the transition of the caterpillar into the butterfly, but it doesn't stop its growth, and it doesn't stop its transition, even though there is so much unknown, and in this transformation in form of how it's now going to exist in the world. It takes an immense amount of trust, faith, surrender to life and to your own soul's evolution. We may not understand why or know why we choose certain things that we choose, or don't listen when our inner voice is guiding us. What paths get created from there? Which path leads to greater self-connection and greater deepening in self-love? And what illusions of freedom or safety do we connect to or grasp on? So all of these spaces and times for contemplation, and seeing what is, if you are someone who is being forged by the fire of life. I've learned to view life as ceremony. In whatever form ceremony might relate to you, every day is a ritual. Every day is an opportunity for deepening and connection to our God self, our inner self, our inner world, to cleanse and purify and release what is no longer working in order to allow space for more spirit to come through and to be guided. You know, I'd read once that the moment that we realize we have free will is actually the moment that we also surrender it, because, you know, our ego mind, we've developed from society and evolution that there's safety in the identity and the colluding with the ego mind. And we don't know what we don't know. But if you look back on the times that you listened to that soft, quiet voice and the times that you've ignored it, what's happened? So, moments of contemplation and seeing how, if you are someone that has heard the call to dive on and into your hero's journey, to forge the path of the black diamond heart, I am here with you. I am here to walk with you through the depths and in the darkness, because in some shape or form I have been there myself. It may not be your exact journey, but I know what it feels like. I know what death in transformation feels like, and I know what death in life feels like when we lose people, when we lose situations, when we lose comfort, and when we willingly choose to do that ourselves. You know, it's been said, I've heard the saying of, if we die before we die, we no longer actually fear death. So much of what we do in our ego's mind to stay alive, because that's what our instincts are designed to do, is oftentimes avoiding death. But it's not always in a physical way. It can mean in an emotional way, in a non-tangible way. But how does that also keep us disconnected? So, love and aloha on this day of contemplation.